It's the Soul Fantasy Show, Soul Fan Show. Hey, it's the Soul Fantasy Show live for July 8th, 2021. Going over the top picks, plays, and studs for Draftkings, Fanduel, and Yahoo. If you already haven't, please subscribe to this channel. This is going to be Game 2 of the NBA Finals. We'll wrap these finals up, and then we're going to move on to, we'll have MLB action on this channel. After basketball is over, we'll have occasional baseball, top picks, plays, and studs. So, yesterday, the top scorer was Chris Paul. He had 31 or 32 points. He had 54 fantasy points, 68 the last game before that. He is a soul. Stud of the day. Chris Paul is starting to become a monster. He's going to be on the cover. He is 10,400. He cost more than Booker today. Booker has a crown. He had 44. He can't break out of the 40s. So he's projected at 42.6. Most likely that's what you'll see him get. And then on top, the top stud, the biggest stud that I see is the Greek Freak. He is $11,400. His opponent ranked 2, position ranked 9, getting 1.66 fantasy points per game. He's projected at 55 fantasy points. Projected to hit 5 times value, 64% chance to easily do that. And his 55 and up will be 5 times value. Most likely he'll hit that. It's exactly what him and Paul had the same fantasy points, and Paul's 1,000 cheaper. So the first 3 crowns we see today, top players are Giannis, Paul, and Booker. They're the 3 with the crowns. All right, so Cameron Johnson was in the winning lineup yesterday. He had a 22 fantasy points. He is 6,000. His opponent ranked 16, position ranked 13, getting 0.78 fantasy points per minute. He is projected to close to 20 fantasy points, which will be 6.8 times value. 71% chance to hit 5 times value. So for 6,000, get him in there. Now for 1,000, before we go over the next 2 crowns, Frank Kaminosky, nothing. He had all zeros. Only 3 minutes. People are watching him though. They're watching him, so he's only 1,000. All right, the next crowns are Ayton, who had 49 fantasy points. He is 9,200. He was also in the winning lineup. 49, 43, and 30. 61 and 35 are his last 5. He had 38 minutes. Here's the pace. Total pace 199. His opponent rank is 16. Position rank 8. Fantasy point 1.9 fantasy points per minute, projected at 37 plus. He has a 28% chance at 5 times value because of his high price. So if he comes back and gets 50 fantasy points again, he's definitely worth it. But if he cools down and gets a little bit less, like 37, that's what you will see. All right, so right under him, we have Drew Holiday's 8,800. He had 31 last time. That isn't going to do it for 8,800, but today he's projected at 44.1 fantasy points. All right, he has a tough matchup. Fantasy point 1.14 fantasy points per minute. He's projected at 44. His 4.8 times value is a 30% chance to hit 5 times value. He's a soul. Sleeper of the day. Okay, we have a couple guys to look at. Nader, no, he didn't do anything. Moore, nothing there either. Dario Sarge is out. So some of those values are going to get thrown in there. That's why we're looking at Frank. That's why Frank's so highly watched. Expect Frank to get more minutes because Dario Sarge has a torn ACL and will miss the remainder of the finals and maybe some of the next game. But he was only 2,800 and he wasn't doing much. He tore his poor ACL during that game. Next up, who has a crown? Middleton. He's 9,800. He had 44 fantasy points. And before that, he had 52 and 62. Expect him to have a better game, at least 46-7 fantasy points. He has another tough matchup, 1.16 fantasy points per minute. He is projected at 46 to 47 fantasy points, projected 4.4 times value, 17% chance to hit 5 times value. All right, so then we have Bridges. He's the next one with the crown. 20, 16, 10, 30, 25. He only had 20. Was he in the winning lineup? I don't know. I don't know if he was. He has a crown, though, so he should do better. Just remember, Sarge is out, so that's going to give everybody more minutes on the Suns. Poor guy tore his ACL. Now, Lopez was definitely in the winning lineup. Lopez had 22 minutes, 30 fantasy points with that 22 minutes. He had 30, 27, and 53. 3 games ago, he had 53. He's a sole sleeper of the day. Brook Lopez, 7,600, the sole mid-range of the day. Forbes had 8 fantasy points, didn't do much. We had Payne and Crowder. So Payne had 13, Crowder had 13. They're expected to get more than 13. Crowder is expected to get 25, and Payne is expected to get 16 fantasy points. So these are their matchups. 1.07 fantasy points for Payne, and Crowder is at 0.81 fantasy points. Crowder had 32 minutes, Payne had 16 minutes. So that's what you can think about that. Now, Bobby Portis dropped way down. He is 3,200 because he didn't do good against the Suns. Like I said, you have to watch out for him. He does good sometimes and then fails other times. He has -2 ice games. He's only 22 on the DD, 1.19 fantasy points per minute. He's only projected to hit about, well, it says 3.4 times value. So Bobby Portis, you have to be wary of playing him because although he was he had 43 and 26 the last 2 games against the Hawks and another 26 there. Now he's playing the Suns. So you have to watch out for that. Cunnington, 14, 30. Everybody's a little different. He's 4,000, more expensive than Portis. PJ Tucker, he's 4,600. He had 33 minutes yesterday. He has a crown. So he's getting the fantasy points for you, so he'll do it. He's the perfect low-budget player. So he might be in the winning lineup. That's why he has a crown. So we don't know, but we think he might be in the winning lineup. Then you have a couple other guys that are 1,000. Justin Jackson, Galloway are 1,000. Nora's 1,000. Smith is 1,000. Torrey Craig, a little more. He could get 15 fantasy points for you. He's 2,400. He might be that little last value you can throw in a couple lineups here and there. And pretty much it. So let's go over the NBA cheat sheet. So here are the top studs. Plays over 8K. Giannis, number 1. Chris Middleton, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, and on the bottom is Ayton. Top mid-range plays of the day are Brook Lopez and Mikal Bridges. And the top value of the day is, of course, PJ Tucker. That's for DraftKings. For FanDuel, 16,000 for the Greek Freak. Very expensive. He's a lot more. He's over 2,000 more than Devin Booker. 2,500 more than Devin Booker. Because the Greek Freak is classically getting 55 fantasy points. You can easily get 55 fantasy points. So for 16,000, Chris Paul is 15,000, Middleton 14,500, Booker is 13,500, Drew Holiday is 13,000, Ayton is 12,500, Brook Lopez and Mikal Bridges. And the mid-range play on FanDuel is PJ Tucker. For FanDuel, here are the studs on FanDuel. We have Chris Paul, the top stud with a crown. Okay. Middleton, 14,000. Then you have Booker, Holiday, and Ayton. Those are the top studs for FanDuel. The top studs for DraftKings are here. Chris Paul, then Booker, then Holiday, then Ayton. The sleepers for DraftKings are Cameron Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Payne, Crowder, Covington, and Tucker. Covington is a little higher and cheaper than Tucker, but he does not have a crown. So just think about that. You might want to throw either one of them in would be fine. And then Cameron Johnson is the top sleeper of the day. Here's the guys that are the minute monsters. Middleton, 44 minutes. Booker, 41 minutes. Holiday, 39. Ayton, 38. Greek had only 35, but he got 55 fantasy points, and he was getting 1.66 fantasy points per minute. He could easily get 55 again. Easily. Chris Paul at 37, PJ Tucker at 33, Lopez 22, Crowder, Portis. Bridges had 30 minutes, Connington had 30 minutes. He had 20, 15, 16, 11. Jeff Teague had 9. Frank, you have to think about him. Why are they watching him? It has to be because Sard. Here's these salary differences. Here's the performance. Great performances. Middleton, Paul, Holiday, Brook Lopez, Ayton, Tucker, Johnson, Booker, Covington, and Portis. Those are good performers. So let's go over the lineup. Optimizer. So on top you have the Greek Freak, Crowder, Covington, Cameron Johnson, Paul, and Tucker. Drew Holiday, Giannis. There's Booker. Chris Paul is the MVP with Booker. No Greek Freak. Booker as the captain. Drew Holiday and Giannis. Cameron Johnson, Tucker, and Payne. Pretty nice lineup. You can put Ayton there, or you could go Lopez here. Mikal Bridges, Lopez. If you have the Greek Freak, he will be 17,000 in the captain spot. So if we have Paul, say Ayton as the captain, you can get rid of him. You could try something like this. This is a pretty nice lineup. Ayton as the MVP. Paul, Greek Freak, Tucker. Or you could go Booker here. Paul or Booker. But Paul is the sole stud of the day. Chris Paul, we're putting him in there as a guy that's just going to go out there and scramble constantly and just do his best. Here's some more lineups. If we have the Greek Freak in there, if you have Paul, Greek, you're only 2,000 off. You're probably this Payne here. So Paul as the MVP. You probably want to have Greek in there for his 55 points. He's 11,400 though. Cameron Johnson, the top sleeper. Covington, Drew Holiday, or Ayton. You could do something like this. Frank is being watched. He's an 89 on the DD. Here's the FanDuel lineups. See, I might play Frank if I can get a lot of guys in on Yahoo. There's Paul, Booker, Greek. You're 6,000 off. You can't have Holiday. You take Holiday out. Bam. Frank is 6,000, pretty low. About as low as they go. 6,000 on FanDuel is about as low as they go. And 1,000 on Draftkings is about as low as they go. So, there has to be a reason why they're watching him. Is he going to get like 15 fantasy points for the minimum? That could be really good for you. And then you have these guys. You can go like this. You can go like this. 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 With Frank, you're gonna have to alternate like this. Boom. Then Bobby Portis is very expensive. Would he be worth it? I don't know. Let's go to Yahoo Fantasy. So this is only 20,000. 2,000, I mean. So probably don't want to go here. Try that out. And when I saw that was here. Now, if you somehow get Frank in there, Frank's going to be way down there. They have 26 per player. You can go Tucker or Lopez. If I go Lopez, I have $31. And I can go Ayton. I can't go Holiday. I can only go Ayton. So with the first lineup, we'll go like that. With Frank. Frank! Alright, so let's try Paul in our Megastar. Boom. Let's go down to Holiday. PJ Tucker. And you have 19. You go Mikal Bridges. Alright, let's try more lineups. Alright. So, you kind of want to get Middleton in there. It's hard to get Greek, Middleton, Paul, Booker, Holiday, all them guys in when you only have a few spots. So if you go Middleton here, you have 28 on average, and you go, if you put Frank in there, now I have 34 on average. So he's 34. He's 34. He's 32. But I don't have a Greek in there. That could be a disaster. Because he tends to be in the winning lineups on Yahoo. So boom, there he is. Now what can you do with him? We can go Drew Holiday. Paul. Fading out. This time you don't put PJ Tucker or anybody in. You don't put Frank, you don't put PJ, you don't put Booker on top. What if Booker has an amazing game? Booker. Well, let's say Ayton. Him. Lopez. You can still... You go Portis or Frank. This time we'll try Tucker because he's the top value on there. Now, then let's switch it around. Exactly like that. You switch it around. So, you go Greek, you go Booker, Ayton, Lopez, and Tucker. Now you switch Tucker out with Portis. Try one more like that. You can do a lot of them if they're 25 cents. So one, boom, 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 Portis. So now you got them switch around to your liking. A couple more. Now, I'm going to go here. Paul, Booker. Now, Tucker, Bridges. More. He says more. One, two. Booker and Paul are the same price. Paul could be. Say we don't want to put Paul. Easily go boom. Yeah, you can go Payne or Frank. This time I'll go Payne. And Greek. This time, Holiday. Paul. Covington. On him. You can go Ayton instead of Paul, instead of that. You can do that. It just switches it around. Most likely, I'm going to have the Greek Freak in there. He's not injured. He's playing. He's expensive. I want Crowder. Okay. Crowder. I want Paul. Tucker. Now I can easily put Booker or Holiday in. I'm going to try Booker. You can try Booker and then somehow get Middleton and the Greek Freak together again. Greek. We'll go Paul, Middleton. Now you have 12. So you have to go Tucker. Oh, let's do one without the Greek Freak. Middleton, Paul, Holiday, Lopez, Bridges. You have $9 left over. Booker here. That's all you can do. You can switch this out, make it a little different. So, we can put Paul on top, and then a bunch of these guys. Payne. 3 into 2, 3 against 2. And then switch it around. We'll do Portis and Tucker this time. Try Booker. Greek. Lopez. Say Lopez has a fiery game. Could be awesome. Bam. See, this would be nice. You save a lot of money with Lopez. Switch it around. Greek. Booker. Lopez. Tucker. Three more. Greek. Holiday. Paul. Crowder. Payne. Most of my lineups are going to have Greek in them. I'm trying to do it with him because say Paul has a really good game. Greek has an okay game. He's there. Lopez. Ayton has a really nice game. Tucker. Now let's get one more with Frank. Frank the Stallion. Frank the Stallion. All right. So let's try Colnington and Frank the Stallion. Say these guys just pay off at that spot somehow. Today at 43 on average. Greek. Middleton. Booker. It's a nice, cute little lineup. It's the Soul Fantasy Show. Soul Fan Show.